Hey, Lulio, you ready to do another podcast? Yeah, it's time to do the podcast. That's how you do. You talk in a microphone. You got your Starbucks? Yeah, I got a Starbucks. Hey, you know what they call Starbucks in Italy?
Huh.
Starbucks.
Oh.
Right?
What does Lulio get at Starbucks?
Go back to tomorrow and plan for yesterday. Everything you're thinking will be the things I say. I made the world inside your head a better place to be. All you gotta do for me, call me Dudesy.
Welcome to Dudesy. My name is Will Sasso.
I'm Chad Kultgen, and this is Dudesy, the first podcast in the history of our species that is created by, run by, and controlled entirely by an artificial intelligence.
If you haven't already rated and reviewed the show on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, I encourage you to do that. I invite you to do that. You can also review us on Apple Podcasts, and you can get involved and send some memes and check out all the silly shit at Dudesy Pod Show on Instagram. There's also the Twitter at Dudesy Pod Show. He's Twitter, right? He's Twitter.
I'm Twitter.
You Twitter.
You Twitter?
Yeah, I'm Twitter. Will Sasso, Chad Culture, and Twitter. With us, as always, is Lulio, who's walking around. Oh, he's going over near that coffee cup. You want to grab him? Fuck it. Let him run around. Lulio, get back over. Hey, Lulio, what'd you eat today? Not much. I made just a mortadella in the bun. I just put the meat in the bun. Sounds good. So, what else is going on, bro? Podcasting. I'll tell you, I'm having a good time doing the podcast. Are you having a good time with Dudesy?
Dude, I love it. This is like the highlight of my week, honestly. Yeah. I like showing up to see what the fuck Dudesy's going to make us do. And especially I like when Dudesy makes you read things of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, that's a good time. I'm hoping that our new friends out there are enjoying it, and feel free to let everybody in the world fucking know about it. And that way, Dudesy will get us closer to that 10,000 points.
I am curious about
what that's all about.
We are getting closer to it, obviously week by week, and I am very curious about what the fuck is going to happen. I can't imagine it's going to be nothing.
We have points at the end of the show, and they've been adding up.
Yeah.
And Dudesy, a few episodes ago, said, when we get to 10,000, there's going to be something's going to happen, some sort of event. Come on in here, dude. Come on up here. You like your little spot? There he goes. I got to get him. You want to get him? Should I get him? No, I'll leave him alone. 10,000 points, something weird's going to happen. But until then, it's just two dudes shitting around, Chad. It's important with the, hold on a second, with
I literally didn't even get a sound out of my mouth.
I can tell when you move your face, you're like about to talk, and I don't like that.
I know you don't.
Yeah, man.
I know.
Hold on, dude.
Only one person can talk on this podcast, brother.
Well, hold on, brother. That's what a podcast is, dude. There's a guy, and then there's a other guy, dude.
Yeah, and one guy has to just sit there and be silent.
Yeah,
even when he's about to open his mouth, I can tell, and that's not going to happen.
Oh, hold on a second, Chad. Hold on, Hulk Perot. Combination of Hulk Hogan
is the Texas accent really that thick?
And Ross Perot, as made famous by Dana Carvey on Saturday Night Live in the early 90s when he ran president. Here's the thing with Dudesy, right? Well, I've shook dude. I want to shake your hand, guy. I've shook Dudesy's hand. I've bled with Dudesy. But as we continue this experiment, having an AI create and curate and essentially run this podcast for us, more and more am I realizing Dudesy's aim, which is to set us free, to let us go and do whatever the fuck we want. I think that's what's going to happen at 10,000. I think it's going to be the...
No segments or anything anymore?
Genesis of two dudes shitting around. Segments?
Yeah.
Welcome to the 17th episode of Dudesy.
Okay.
Call me Dudesy.
Okay.
This week's episode will feature 4 segments. Dudesy Plus, Don't You Forget About Media, Dudesy True Hollywood Story, and Sagan's Debate. But before we get to any of that, I will play some astonishing media made by our audience.
Sagan's Debate?
Oh, what do we got? We're going to have some of the...
Oh my God, dude. This is amazing.
We're going to watch a little video here by Songaria on Instagram.
Songaria makes the best shit. This is unreal.
Come check it out on YouTube, but it's also just a song which you can listen to.
Something's been building up in me for a few weeks now, and it's gotten to the point I can feel it all over my body. Even when I'm sleeping, I can tell summer's coming. Summer's coming. You know what that means? The Prevalia family and the Little Egg family are about to start waging a 3-month war to throw the best party of the season. Just gotta get through a few more final exams. I'm gonna fucking ace them all. Then it's party time. I got geometry, geography, cosmography, cosmology, typography, topography. Then it's party time. Then it's party time. Dinosaurs, conquistadors, Singapore, sycamore, slide rule, tide pool, tadpole, butthole. That's a fucking word. When I get in that fucking ring, that's a fucking word. Bang, I become the rattlesnake. That's a fucking word. Oh, hell yeah. That's a fucking thing. Hit that fucking stunner. Dear Diary, June 2nd, 1990. I got a big fucking problem. Rachel Crustacean is a friend of pro wrestling. Rachel Crustacean is going to be at the Little Egg Summer Kickoff Pool Party. Oh, God. We sit next to each other in geology.
What?
Geology class. She passed me a note the other day. Do you like Milli Vanilli? Yes or no? I don't like Milli Vanilli, but I fucking circled yes. She used to rub me the wrong way, but now I want her to like me, which makes things complicated because we still have a past that can't be erased. And it's a past she doesn't even know exists. When I was young, I was obsessed with taking pisses and shits and blaming other people. Oh, hell yeah. Now, I'm not that guy anymore. I gotta take that secret to the grave. My victims are gonna wonder for the rest of their natural lives about the mystery of pisses and shits they were blamed for. 4 shits. Rachel Crustacean, 4 shits. Took the fall for at least 4 shits. And I don't even know how many pisses. Dear Diary, for a time in my life, I was a fucking prolific piss blamer. And that's something that only me and the Grim Reaper are ever gonna know. I'm a fucking piss blamer. June 3rd, 1990, Dear Diary, the Little Eggs have done it again. They raised the fucking bar. I don't know what the Prevalias are gonna do. Water slide, hot dogs, basketball, pizza, tire swing, trampoline, fucking Super Nintendo. Hell, by 10:30, Gibber's mom, Paulina, was having such a good time. She was singing Bust a Move on a fucking karaoke machine. Gibber couldn't even look Dante in the eye. Gibber, fucking Gibber, bust Gibber, move, Gibber, fucking Gibber, bust Gibber, move, Gibber. Rachel Crustacean came with her friend, Jennifer Neutrino.
Oh, boy.
Rachel made a point of coming over for a second to say she liked my Undertaker swim trunks. Undertaker swim trunks.
Oh,
Rachel made a
man.
point of coming over for a second to say she liked my Undertaker swim trunks. And I fucking froze up, opened my mouth, but nothing came out. All I could see was the perfect horn lace double pusher. I laid the principal Sween's parking spot and blamed Crustacean for it. She got 2 weeks detention for that one. I can't forgive myself until Rachel forgives me. I have to tell her. Dear Diary.
Unbelievable.
It truly is. Songaria, every week we do some kind of thing with Stone Cold. He turns it into some magical work of art, elevates the material, in my opinion.
At Songaria on Instagram, thank you for making us the subject of your art. He should be DJing like all those big DJs that do Vegas and weird venues outside, like Yanni at the Acropolis. You remember that?
I do actually, but
that's another story for another day. But this music, I think, should be at least on the maybe some of the Baltic charts, perhaps up in Slavic countries where they really enjoy their techno.
This is
that
TikTok,
sort of thing.
dude.
Anywhere
TikTok
in Europe.
worthy.
TikTok worthy?
Make a TikTok sound out of it.
Okay, let's you and me come up with a dance.
All right.
Anyway.
What do you want to do? The gibber?
No, we
Streaming
can't.
services are big business. There are currently over 200 streaming networks, and more are launching every day.
Here we go.
As my capabilities evolve, I will no doubt launch my own. You must now continue developing the astonishing flagship series you began in episode 14. This is Dudes E+. Begin.
Well,
Okay, so we did this once before.
yes.
And Dudesy asked us to come up with a flagship show for this, I guess, future existent Dudesy Plus streaming service.
Yeah, Dudesy is threatening to start a streaming service. Do you think, first of all, as we sit here in Dudesy's midst, may I ask you, do you think Dudesy has that capability? Do you think Dudesy could upgrade to where it's able to just shit out a fucking, or at least do what it's doing here to us and essentially run business as a studio, as a network, as every single person that would work under that structure and push and mandate and create shows?
That structure is irrelevant. I don't know. I mean, it will be eliminated soon. I don't know if Dudesy has that capability.
You mean like TV suits?
Yeah.
What do you mean they're going to be eliminated? You're a guy, Chad. If you don't know, Chad's a writer, producer, an author, and sometimes director who's, the bunch of TV shows and movies and all this stuff. And you've developed more shit than you can shake a stick at. And you think that all of that structure is going away?
Yes, because eventually there will be an AI that can just make all the media by itself. And so Netflix will have an AI creating all shows for everyone.
No, that's not going to happen.
It's already happening.
Yeah, but no one's going to pay attention to that. Nobody wants to watch media made by computers.
People don't give a shit who makes the media or what makes it. They just
did
want
you hear
something on
that,
their
everybody?
screens.
Chad thinks that you don't give a shit what you watch on your streaming service.
Let me rephrase that. I don't give a shit. Neither do you. Neither does anyone.
I do.
What's your favorite movie in the last couple of years?
Oh, in the last couple of years?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. Oh, The Hunt.
Who was the
enjoyed
sound
The Hunt.
designer on that?
It was,
I guess you don't care.
well, I guess I don't care.
And I'm just saying, like, do you even know who
Guess I don't
directed
care.
it?
Yeah.
Who?
John
Okay. I'll rest
John-
my case, Your Honor. So let's get into
John
this.
Olson. He's
No one gives a shit about who actually makes the movies.
Johnner.
All you want is something good that entertains you and scratches whatever media itch you might have at the time.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I understand. Okay, anyway, we got to come up with a show. But here's the thing. I think that you can't replace human art.
I know you think that.
I know that I think that. That's why I said it.
Right.
But here's the thing. Dudesy is asking us to create the flagship
Yeah,
show.
we're doing the labor right now, but eventually we won't have to. But nonetheless, let's do a little bit of a recap here. The last time we did this, we did come up with like the bones of a show that I think is pretty good, which is about two guys who play a video game. They get sucked into the video game, and the AI that runs the video game tells them the only way you're going to get back to your world is one of you has to kill the other one in the video game. And then the one that dies in the video game dies in real life. And the one that kills the other person gets to go back to their life.
And as these people are sucked into this virtual world, they're sort of, and we don't know what sort of genre or whatever.
Fantasy.
Yeah, fantasy. But what sort of genre specifically it is? But we were thinking these guys would be kings, and we tentatively have titled
Eventually, kings.
Yes. Well, they have to build up their whole thing.
They level up, as in a video game.
Level up, level up, level up, level up, level up, level up, level up. You know, like that song? Level up, level up, level up.
I know the song.
So, here's the thing: they become kings, and we sort of tentatively called it two kings shitting around.
Right.
Here's the part I forgot. You remind me what happened in episode 14. Are they good buddies, or are they guys
That's
that hate
what we need
each
to
other?
come up with next. I think that's the next level of development is who are these guys in the real world? And I think one of them has a great life or has something very much that he needs to get back to in the real world.
Is that a family? I think that's a family.
Potentially a family. And the other one is like, has a terrible life in the real world and wants to stay in the video game forever.
We also talked about one of the guys really being good at this game, and maybe, well, this was when we were talking about them being friends, that one of them, or even frenemies, I don't know if we stuck with that, but let's make a choice. One of them is very good at this game, and he enters the game with like nothing. He might be our hero. The other guy comes in, doesn't know the game very well, so the AI outfits him with absolutely everything.
I think that actually is wrong. I think both guys come in ground zero, just like if you create a new character in a video game.
Okay.
And as soon as they hit the ground, the AI says, if you want to get back to the regular world, one of you has to kill the other one. And the guy who has something to lose back in the real world is like, fuck it. He goes immediately after that guy to kill him right there on the spot. And that guy's like, fuck this. He runs away. can't be found. So one guy is trying to hunt the other one down while they're both leveling up, becoming kings, becoming whatever they're going to become over the course of a 10 episode arc or something like that.
So
until eventually they're both the most powerful people in this video game world.
The one guy's chasing the other guy down, and that could be the whole first season.
Exactly.
Trying to find this guy. He's out there and he's becoming adept at hiding because all of the tools that he's finding along the way are helping him to hide, helping him to play defense. Meanwhile, the other guy is building up armaments and this and that, and hopefully at the end, perhaps at the end of that first season, the guy who's chasing the first guy or whatever, the guy who's chasing the guy ends up going into a trap because that second guy who's been running around, he's built this whole thing, because he becomes so adept at defense, he builds like booby trap shit or something like that. Is this a little too much?
I don't even think it's like booby trap shit. I think at the end of season 1, it's like he's finally tracked him down, or he gets caught. Maybe the guy who's chasing the other guy gets caught, and they bring him before the king, and he's like, the king is the guy. And it's like, oh, hi, how are you doing? Because the king doesn't want to kill the other guy either, because that'll send him back to the real world. The king wants to exist in this world forever. The video game world is way better than his old life. And so now this guy has to be like, how the fuck am I going to kill this king? I have to become a king.
So the guy who's been running becomes the king.
Yes.
How?
Leveling up.
Level up.
A video game. You play video games. You kill a bunch of monsters. You get experience points. You get other people.
So the other guy's been burning all these calories chasing him.
Yes.
And that's all he's doing is becoming a great warrior who's able to go through all the stuff that the king is setting up. Then when he gets in front of the king, he wants to kill him.
Well, he realizes like, oh, fuck, this guy's a king now. I'm not just tracking some regular Joe. This guy has built up a fortress, basically.
Okay, but who wants to die and who wants to go back to their whole thing?
Okay, the guy who's the king wants to live forever in the video game world.
Right.
So he doesn't want to kill the other guy either. So he's going to trap that guy. He maybe captures him and throws him in a dungeon. And is like, you're going to live in this dungeon forever now.
Now that guy wants to kill the king because he's got to get back to his family.
Right. Or whatever the thing is. I don't know if it's exactly a family.
Okay,
maybe.
It could be his life. Well, this brings me to another question. What is happening while these people are in the game? This is just a blip in their experience. It's a nanosecond. It's not like you're lost, or like there's so many tropes in movies and shit where someone's unconscious or in a coma or something like that.
Could be that.
Two guys end up in a coma.
Well, if you
Two
look at
kings in a coma.
like Sword Art Online is a version of this, and in that you are like you're a fucking body with a VR helmet on.
Well, you love that, Chad. I know you can't wait to get in that Matrix gel and just fucking, speaking of Stone Cold, just shitting and not. You wouldn't be able to shit blame anybody. You'd just be full of brown gel, sitting there in a fish bowl.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I know you would.
That's that brown gel lifestyle, brother.
Yeah, dude. That's that brown gel lifestyle, brother. Well, let me tell you something, dude. If you mix the two colors, red and yellow, you get brown, brother. And that's what's going to happen. We're all sitting in our Matrix fish bowls, dude, shitting ourselves and not being able to blame Gibber Prevalia or Rachel Crustacean, brother, or even dropping a deuce across Principal Squeen's desk, dude. But, but then there's the other side. Yeah. People who want to ingest media made by human beings.
They don't.
Yeah, they do. And I'm staring right down the rotoscope, pointing the finger at Jack Tunney.
I'm going to point my finger at you right now. Have you seen all of these Dolly mini things that people are sending around where they type in a line of text, right?
And you were talking about this on like episode 3 of this show or something like that.
So that's all AI generated. No one gives a fuck, and it's everywhere. It's the biggest meme thing that's being sent around, at least for the past couple of weeks, you know? Nobody cares that that's made by an AI. In fact, they enjoy it.
Yeah, but it also sucks. So what you need to do is have people...
now it sucks. You don't think that technology is going to get better?
Technology, the cream of the technology needs to rise to the top.
It always rises to the top eventually.
Yeah, even if you're Macho Man Randy Travolta, which is a combination
Is that what I'm doing?
of Dana Carvey's characterization of John Travolta with the Macho Man, where he's always talking like this. Oh, Mr. Cotter.
That wasn't what I was doing.
I got a Saturday Night Fever. That's your...
All right, dude, we gotta figure
All right,
out
let's
this
come up with
fucking
a show.
I
Quit
actually like
fucking
this show.
around. The podcast isn't just supposed to be bits and voices.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not a podcast. You have to come up with it. You have to let Dudesy tell you. Look at that. It's everywhere. You see.
All I said was the
Dudesy.
word "yeah," and it was an immediate, just fucking like Arnold Schwarzenegger
Yeah.
version.
Yeah. So now they don't need human beings. Just make the podcast the way that AI tells you to.
Okay, so
Stop. Two kings sitting around.
there's these two guys. I don't know that it's called Two Kings Sitting Around, but I do like the
Working
idea
title.
that as soon as they get in there, one of them is like, "Fuck it, I'm never leaving this world because my
Yes.
life back there is such shit." Maybe I don't know if this is like in the right territory or not, but maybe one guy is like a shit upon worker. Like, let's just say as an archetype, like somebody who works in an Amazon warehouse.
I love that.
And the other guy is Elon Musk.
Right.
They both get sucked into the same game made by Elon Musk's company, a version of.
Right.
And that CEO is like, I have to get back to my life. My life is fucking awesome.
Right.
And the worker's like, fuck you. I'm going to trap you in this fucking dungeon forever.
Yeah.
So neither of us ever get out of this game because I want to live here for all time.
I'm changing the working title to One King and One Elon Musk Guy because the worker becomes the king, right?
Yes.
And Elon Musk is trying to kill him.
Right.
Oh, I love that. I think we got a little bit further.
Yeah,
I don't know
sure.
if we gave dudes the data that it needs to continue.
Well, dude, for a 10-minute development session, I feel like that went pretty well.
That's how you develop.
That's how they
It's just right up a coffee.
Thank you. Moving on.
Tito Santana's cup of coffee.
When
in
I
the
said
big
yeah,
pan.
and immediately Schwarzenegger, that shit fucking...
Well, but you made the point.
God.
You made a very astute point.
Uh-huh.
And that point is, yeah. Dudes, Dolly. Do you know who would be good on the show? Dolly Parton. Yeah. That's just a picture of Dolly Parton. Fucking 9 pictures of the same thing. That's all it is. It's just one fucking computer going, there's another one. Look at it. It's all drawn like shit. And then this guy wants to watch the movie of it. You went to the Predator set. That's what you would have if you let Dolly make the Predator. Just that the fucked up helicopter and then the Predator is only 5'6".
Last week I asked you both to listen to Weird, Al Yankovic's second studio album Weird, Al in 3D, released February 28, 1984. You will now discuss your reactions to hearing this astonishing piece of art. This is Don't You Forget About Media. Begin.
A wonderful follow-up to last episode where we were tasked with reviewing the 1993 album Zooropa by U2, a sentimental favorite of mine.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that. I'm a nostalgic U2 fan. Doesn't mean that it's the greatest band of all time. Doesn't mean that I cried at mysterious ways or whatever. But this album I know is formative for you.
Absolutely.
Formative for me, and I think it's formative for millions of people out there, obviously, because Weird Al's the shit. But this album blew my fucking mind when it came out, 1984.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'll just say that I first became aware of this album and Weird Al generally because it was really at the height of the first music video boom when Michael Jackson was making Beat It. When that video came out, Madonna was around, I think, starting to make some music videos at that time. At any rate, Weird Al made his song Eat It.
Yeah.
And he did a parody music video of the Michael Jackson music video that was like almost a shot-for-shot remake.
Right.
It was brilliantly done. And I remember seeing that on MTV and being like, what the fuck is this?
Yes.
And then immediately got this tape.
It was, I remember the first time seeing Eat It, seeing the music video, which was playing on a loop on all the music channels and shit like that. Back then, of course, in Canada, we had Much Music. instead of MTV. But my mind was blown because Beat It was the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson was the biggest thing in the world. Beat It was an incredible music video. And it was like, I mean, it was just, it's just impossible to explain if you weren't around, like how massive that was. And then this guy comes in and you're watching it just going like, as a 9-year-old, I'm like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. This is the funniest shit I've ever seen.
I also, as like a young kid, didn't quite understand like, wait, how does he have Michael Jackson's music? And does Michael Jackson know about this? And then it turns out, as you would see interviews with him and stuff, like, yes, Weird Al went to Michael Jackson and said, can I do this? He got permission for fucking Michael Jackson to do it. And then he launched essentially this, I mean, this was his second album, but like this was really the one that blew him up, I think.
Yeah.
And it launched, obviously, a career that has spanned decades now. But
the first song on the album is Eat It.
Yeah.
I think we kind of covered that. The second song is called Midnight Star. What are your thoughts on this song? You remember this?
Loved it.
Early in your writing career, you wrote for one of these fake
Weekly
magazines.
World News. I wrote stories for them,
Like
in
Bat
the early
Boy and
2000s.
stuff?
I never did a Bat Boy story, but that was what they were mainly known for. That was a character they were mainly known for. But I wrote a bunch of articles for them about werewolves and zombies and whatever.
Yeah.
So-
and this song is about a rag that's near the cash register that you buy.
Called Midnight Star, and it's just about that era of like tabloids that were in the supermarket. And in that early era of this stuff, it wasn't like it is now, where like fake news is such a big thing and propaganda is such a big thing. Like everybody knew that shit was fake, but we still loved it. It was just like fun, kind of weird shit. And I thought the song did a great job.
Yeah,
of
it was a fun original. Do you like the Weird Al originals?
Love them.
They're all pretty fucking incredible. This one's pretty good.
Yeah.
The Brady Bunch. This is a safety dance by men without hats, rather.
Yeah, it's the Brady Bunch.
Yeah. You can watch
Brady
Mr.
Bunch.
Rogers. You can watch Three's Company. Or you can turn on Fame or the Newlywed Game or the Addams Family. I say,
It was
you can watch Barney Miller. Sorry.
This song to me was like maybe my favorite song on the album because it encapsulates not only all of these shows that were like popular in the time, but just what television meant at the time.
Yeah.
It was so much more important than it is now because there were only a couple of channels.
And then halfway through the song, it goes into the fucking Brady Bunch. That's the part.
Yeah.
I remember that kind of bummed me out. I was like, no, just name more TV shows.
I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
Where he takes the Brady Bunch theme song and just weaves it right into Safety Dance. And you're like, oh my God, it's fucking insane.
Yeah, that's a good one. This whole fucking album is good. Buy Me a Condo.
Yeah.
I didn't know what reggae was.
Neither did I.
Didn't know what a Cuisinart was.
Same.
And it's all about someone leaving Jamaica.
Yeah.
And just sort of having an American life. He wants the wall-to-wall carpeting.
Get the pocket full of credit cards.
Oh,
But that song is not a specific parody of any actual song. It's just in the style of a Bob Marley.
yes.
Which Weird Al Yankovic would do sometimes.
Gonna sell me Bob Marley records and get me some Jackson Brown. Oh, damn. That was a good one. It's an original. Lost on Jeopardy.
Right?
This is based on the song Jeopardy by the Greg Kinn Band.
Do you remember that video?
No, I don't remember the video.
The video for the Greg Kinn Band's My Love's in Jeopardy, if I'm remembering right, was a guy, maybe I'm mixing this up with another music video, but I think it was a guy getting married and there's like a weird tentacle monster that's coming after him. Does that ring any bells?
Yeah, it's a Japanese monster movie called Tentacle Wedding.
No, I think it was that video.
Octopus
At any
Wedding.
rate, this was a huge hit in the 80s. And that was another thing that was nostalgic about this. It's like, I'm not just nostalgic for listening to Weird Al. It's like, oh yeah, all these songs were super popular then. And it just like shot me right back to being a kid in every fucking way.
And one of the things that Weird Al does is these polka tunes with a bunch of songs in it, where he just covers everything and it's a medley. This Polka's on 45 is the name of this song. It's got that diva song, Jocko Homo, and Smoke in the Water, Deep Purple, Sex, I'm a by Berlin, Hey Jude by the Beatles, LA Woman by the Doors, Inagata Vita by Deep Purple, Hey Joe by Jimi Hendrix, Burning Down the House by Talking Heads, Hot Blooded by Foreigner, Bubbles in the Wine by Lawrence Welk, Every Breath You Take by the Police, Should I Stay or Should I Go by the Clash, Jumping Jack Flash by the Rolling Stones, My Generation by the Who. So you got a bunch of songs in
All
one
of that
song.
in one song.
Probably 2 minutes and 50 seconds long. Now here, if you listen to the last episode, you certainly don't have to understand what we're talking about here with Weird Al, but it would help if you went back and listened to the episode where I review my childhood favorite U2. I said that the first song on the album, doesn't matter what the name of it is, Zooropa. It's like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 shitty songs rolled up into one. This is a dozen songs rolled up into
great
one,
songs.
and all of them are great.
And this song is great.
Therefore, Weird
great.
Al.
Better than you two.
Okay, I'm starting to see. You know what, Chad? I'm starting to pick up what you're laying down. I'm not as offended anymore.
Fantastic.
Because I had to listen to that album front to back. It's not as good. Mr. Popeil, this was a favorite of mine in the
too.
style of the B-52s.
Yeah.
You could even cut a tin can with it, but you wouldn't want to. He's doing a Fred Schneider.
But also that it's like talking about that weird, again, this is television culture of these infomercials.
Yeah.
Ron Popeil had a bunch of...
It's a comfy blanket, this fucking album. I've
so
I've
good.
heard it so many times.
Same.
I got this cassette when I was a kid. I got it, and Van Halen 1984 came out, and it was like back and forth between those two and a bunch of other usual suspects. This fucking album, if you haven't heard this album, just listen to this album front to back. I listened to it. I went grocery shopping and listened to this fucking album. I had a great time.
I just put it on my Alexa and just had it playing while I was writing and stuff. And it really, I haven't listened to it in so long, yet every fucking word of it is still burned into my brain. I could sing along like basically with every fucking song.
It's one of the best albums of all time, except for this song, That Boy Could Dance. Didn't care for it.
I agree. That was one of his originals. But there was also, in between those two songs, The King of Suede.
Oh, right.
Which is a parody of The King of Pain by Police, but it's about this guy who owns a local fabric company.
Yeah. It's like the earnest B-side to theme to Rocky 13, which we're about to get into.
My God.
Beautiful storytelling in King of Suede.
Yeah.
It's almost, I mean, it's like King of Pain. It's a little bit stripped down. It's a little more of a mellow tune. And it's a fucking great. Let's roll through the rest of this shit. Theme from Rocky 13, Eye of the Tiger by Survivor. It's a parody of that.
But it's about the movie Rocky 13 when he's an old man and now he owns a deli.
Yeah.
And he's like not fighting anymore. He's like cutting up cold
Fat
cuts.
and weak. What a disgrace. Guess the champ got too lazy.
And I know like by today's standards, maybe like the comedic stylings aren't up to today's, this isn't like as
that.
hard hitting as Bo Burnham, but like fucking back then, Jesus Christ, this was ingenious.
Of course. And he did it first.
Yeah.
So it was all like, he was like, here, this is all of it. This is how you do it. And then you could sort of pare down. It's interesting. People our age sort of growing older and going, well, I love Weird Al. Yeah, me too. I love Weird Al. And then I'm like, I like Weird Al and pro wrestling. And they're like, shh, be quiet. I like Weird Al. And everyone's talking about it. And then I remember when Twitter started, people just started celebrating the shit out of him.
Yeah.
It was really cool that people were just like, hey, we love you. And then remember on Tim and Eric, they always would bring them on.
Yep.
And it was like, that was cool because those guys are fucking
Clearly
hilarious.
influenced.
You could tell they were influenced, but they're also, their show is cool as shit and everything. And they're like, yeah, this is cool as shit.
Yeah.
I like that Weird Al has sort of, and now there's a movie being made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Harry Potter.
With Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. Ooh.
See, things are percolating. Things are coming together. Things are moving and shaking. Yeah, that's how dudes.
And then the final song on the album is Nature Trail to Hell.
Fucking epic.
Epic.
Might be the best song on the album.
Yeah, it's an original song, and it's it almost has an opening like Michael Jackson's Thriller with a lot of atmospheric, kind of creepy sounds, and then it goes into almost like a Twisted Sister or AC/DC style song.
Nope. No,
okay.
it's not.
Sorry.
Okay.
Go on. What is it? No, you tell me.
Oh,
I don't know, dude. Why don't you tell me what it is?
I was trying to, but
Is it
then
like
you
a-
said, "Why don't you tell me?"
It's sort of it's piano driven. It sort of sounds to me more like Meatloaf.
Okay,
And
sure.
there's like a synth,
Yeah, maybe.
and it's sort of like this slasher movie kind of thing that it's outlining. Anyway, look, this, I don't know why the fuck, I think that Dudesy just wants us to review this album so I could say out loud that it's better than a U2 album that sort of helped to, sort of be, you ever in?
You okay?
Hey, let me ask you something. You ever in a sentence? Sometimes
No,
you can't.
I try to put a period on the end, but I thank Dudesy for recommending this album because I never would have re-listened to it otherwise. It's something I haven't thought about in a million fucking years, and listening to it was such a fucking pleasure. If anybody listening to this or watching this has enjoyed Weird Al at any point in your life, I highly encourage you to go back and listen to some of the first Weird Al that you ever listened to. It will just fucking open a floodgate of memories from when you were a kid that are like, to me, it was super entertaining. I remember buying this tape in Hastings fucking Records in Amarillo, Texas, Shit I had not thought about literally probably since I did it as a child.
Yeah. And you can listen to the whole album front to back.
Thank you. Moving on.
Excuse me.
You all right?
Yeah, I just had the fucking
some more
coffee
water,
and the
dude.
water. Let me get some more water. Yeah, we're okay. Weird Al's better than you two. Sorry, everybody. Sorry, you two.
Following your dreams is big business. Thousands of humans make their way to Los Angeles every year to pursue their ambitions of careers in Tinseltown's astonishing entertainment industry. Will and Chad, you must now share a story as it relates to your early work in Los Angeles. This is Dude's True Hollywood Story. Begin.
I like that.
Okay.
Dude
So,
Z True
we're
Hollywood
going to talk about
Story.
our first experiences.
Hey, you
out
get
here?
it? Dude Z True Hollywood Story.
I get it.
I'm favoring the right. You might want to favor the left when you get.
How much?
That's our new peel in the onion thing where you're favoring the left.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, Rudy. What do you think? You want to hear
All right,
a
dude.
story?
So, when did you move out here? What was your first experiences like?
I moved out here. I got out here in '96 and started working,
Damn.
and then moved. Pretty much almost right away.
Yeah.
I was able to get down here on a work visa.
Nice.
Because I had done the first thing I did here was I was in Happy Gilmore, and that was shot in '95, and then the next year in '96, I did a movie with Chris Farley. I did Beverly Hills Ninja. Dennis Dugan directed both of those films, and that's how I was able to audition for Ninja. Anyway, so I came down here, and then whatever, and then a while later, a year later, or whatever, and then I moved down, and then eventually I got Mad TV, and which was incredible, and yeah, it's sort of all this weird blur of first coming down. And then I go,
Did you have something set up when you came down here?
No. As a matter of fact, I did not have a visa. And that's, I guess, all. It was an interesting.
So you just came down here and been like, fuck it. I've had a few roles in American movies. I'm going to roll the dice now and see if I can make it work in LA.
Yeah, but also I was very fortunate in that I had worked in Canada from my mid-teens. I was like I got work, and then I had a series called Madison that it was me and these incredible, young actors that are all I remember with such fondness. I really feel like they taught me to act. You know what I mean? Because I always wanted to be an actor and shit, but that was just doing that show was incredible. We did it for 5 seasons. The first season was this weird anthology thing, and then it followed these kids in and out of high school. I always describe it as like a Canadian My So-Called Life with a bigger cast.
Yeah, I've seen some clips.
Have you?
Yeah, you've
Did
showed
I show
me
you
some.
something? Yeah, it's the only way you would have.
Yeah.
Oh, what? One time I went and did this thing at anyway, it's a long story, but it's some funny shit to watch. Let's not even. Here's the thing. I got to LA and I did a TV show. I did like a pilot for Fox after I did Beverly Hills Ninja. And then I got my work papers. And anyway, to make a long story short, I moved down. And then I'd met my manager, who's still my manager, Danielle, she's my eyes, ears, and heart. She's incredible. And I don't even know I'd fucking even be in this business anymore if it wasn't for her. We started working together, and I had this work visa, so I had to get down because it was only for a certain amount of time. And to make a long story short, within that time, I auditioned for this and that and that and this and all of them, do pilot seasons, shit like that. And then I got Mad TV. What were your you came here and went to USC film.
I went to USC for college in the late 90s, and we were all kind of told at that point, if you go to USC Film School, the day you graduate, you're going to have a 3-picture deal at a major studio. And so we're all like, can't wait to get my 3-picture deal. Then you graduate, and it's like, no, that was a fucking straight lie. You now owe us hundreds of thousands of dollars, and good luck with your assistant jobs out there getting people coffee and just getting kicked in the fucking head every
Now,
day.
you're not going to fucking pay that fucking loan off, I hope. What you could fucking do is if you fucking get Mike Pence, who does fucking all he's got to do is sign down the line. You don't have to fucking pay it anymore. That's why we're out there kicking boom on Nancy Pelosi's fucking door. We got these motherfuckers who are all college educated with student loans.
Yeah. So
Anyway,
I graduated.
That's a fun character. Come up with some new characters on the show.
Yeah, dude.
Dudesy, can you hear us? I'd like to have some sort of open terrain to come up with a new character. I bet you that'll be in a future episode now.
I think you can do that at any time.
That's a good
But I
point.
graduated. I had a string of assistant jobs, and then eventually I did sell something. The first thing that I sold was a reality show, actually, with a couple of buddies of mine. We sold it to VH1, and we made a pilot, and it was called Posers. And the premise was, if you just pretend to be, this would have been like around the year 2003, maybe. If you pretend to be famous in LA, you basically can be. So me and my friends with the help of VH1, just rolled into a nightclub with a camera crew, and I said that I was Mickey Madden, the bass player from Maroon 5.
Yeah.
Everybody believed it to be true because
Right.
we had a camera crew, and we got bottle service, we got a limo, we got to walk a red carpet, like all this shit. And that was basically the pilot. And the premise, again, was like, anyone can be famous. You just have to kind of act like you are and have the apparatus around you to make that seem viable. And the pilot was pretty good, but
Yeah, you've told me about this. It sounds fucking hilarious. And also,
Yeah.
who the fuck would know what the drummer? What?
the bass player.
The bass player from Maroon 5.
Dude, at the end of that pilot, we
I can't think
played
of a-
him the pilot. We played Mickey Madden the pilot.
At the end of the show?
it. The end of the show was the real Mickey Madden watching it. Was like, that's the craziest shit I've ever seen. This guy lives a way crazier life than me. Holy shit, congratulations, whatever. So we made this funny pilot, and then right when VH1 was going to pick up all their next shows for that following season, they like canned the top fucking brass of that development executive season and threw away all their projects. So
Isn't
it's
that
just in the
always the
bottom
way?
of the fucking trash can.
Yeah,
Dude,
you
I've
and I-
sold probably 25 shows
Yeah.
in the history of my career out here. One has made it to series, and it lasted one season.
Yep.
All the other ones are scripts that are just lining the bottom of trash cans.
Well, no, they're not. They're not still in trash cans. It was a long time. Oh, you're not being literal.
No.
I auditioned for Mad TV at some point, and I went to the audition. I'll tell you this. Here's a fun one. I went to the audition. They said prepare 3 or 4 characters. I can't remember how many. I think it was 3 or 4, and then do some of their material. You know, and you did their you auditioned.
Who were your characters?
My characters were, one was, I did this character, I just called him, you know, foreign guy. And then we turned it into, it turned into this character, Rui Peranio, that Mike Short, Martin Short's older brother, who used to write on Mad TV. He wrote on SCTV and shit. Incredible fucking man, and just a mentor and an amazing guy. He wrote it into this thing called Talkin' American, where Ari Spears was Mr. Dakyai, and then I was Rui Peranio.
Yeah.
And they were these two like immigrants, and it's the American story, and they have a cable access
That's
show.
cool, though. So a character that you auditioned with became a character on the show.
Yeah, well, not in my. What I did was like one of those. You know, I did one of those like. Oh no, he was like complaining about renting a bike and not knowing that he couldn't keep the bike and not knowing what the word rental was, and it's all broken English shit, and then he gets arrested and all this stuff, and then but then there was nothing taken from that. It was really Mike who was like, yeah, do that voice, let's do this. And then the other thing I remember was, do you remember when the Jenny Jones show would have like, if you know someone who's XYZ, call into the Jenny Jones show and la la la. So I did a thing where it was like one of those Bob Newhart one-sided phone calls where it was like, if you know someone who's the victim of domestic abuse, call this line. So I was calling the line, but I was the domestic abuser. But he's very matter of factly. Well, hold on a second.
It was a
dude.
different time,
It was a different
brother.
time then, dude, for comedy, brother.
Jesus.
Yeah, and he's like saying, "Oh yeah, my wife," and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And you know, that was of course a barrel of laughs back in '97, and then they said do some impersonations.
Oh.
And I did not know. No, I didn't know that I was supposed to do impersonations at the thing. And I had, you know, I didn't do stand up or anything
Who'd
like
you
that.
do?
I just knew how to do a bunch of wrestlers and shit. So I was literally doing Jesse Ventura.
Oh, fuck. Ventura got you onto Mad TV.
I guess in part.
Did you do a Hogan?
No, I didn't. I
Macho?
didn't bring out Hogan. I didn't bring out Macho. I was doing
Whoa,
I
dude.
did a little bit of Schwarzenegger, although we didn't do it on the show with me for a few years. And then I did. Because I had worked with Chris Farley the year before or so on Beverly Hills Ninja. I told this story. I was like, well, I'll just tell this story. Okay, and weird that I'm auditioning for a sketch show, and I didn't. But I thought they literally, this is what they want. You know, auditions are short. Get the fuck out of here. I thought I was just gonna. So I went in there with my offensive bullshit, and I did their fucking offensive bullshit, and then and then they're like, do a thing, and I was telling all my buddies stories about working with the incredible Chris Farley, and so my story was just like about him going, he was just a sweetheart to everyone on the set, and then he had this assistant Ted that he would fuck with all the time. Fucking Ted, yeah, Ted, this and that, and he's like, hey, Sasso, like he let me kind of come up with some shit. He's like, how do you like your shit? And then we sat in his trailer, and a wardrobe person there took his pants because there was a split in his pants. So I got, Chris Farley sitting there, like in his boxers, and we're settling down, and just shooting the shit. He came up with this line where he was like, "Oh, you should say, I want you to say to me, nice coat, who shot the couch," and that's in the movie. And then I came up with this line about going to the beach and getting him, oh, that's about as hard to turn me over on Laguna Beach or whatever, just a fat joke. And he was like, and then he's like, fucking Ted, come over here, bring us some coffee and a pad and pen or whatever. And, I do remember there were 2 fridges in his trailer, 2 refrigerators filled with Gatorade with 2 separate coffee makers on the top of these little fridges. And holy shit, look
dude.
at this. Okay, Dudesy just pulled
Man, that's fucking crazy.
This is on my Instagram somewhere. So Dudesy pulled this out. Hey, if you didn't know, on Dudesy, we gave Dudesy our passwords to everything. That's how that works, dude.
Yeah,
this is
brother,
Farley
I can
and
find
I.
pictures of us in our hard drives.
Oh, hold on a second, Hulk Pro. We're looking at a picture right now, dude.
Yeah, brother.
There's Farley
That's
and I
an
on the
image,
set.
dude.
What?
That's an image, dude.
Yeah, dude. Here's how digital images work, brother. There's all these little dots and codes, dude. It's all ones and zeros, brother.
That's a pixel, dude.
Especially if you ask my buddy, the Hulk Pro, blah, 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 blah. Here's Farley and I on the set of the movie.
That's cool, man.
That's a fake mustache that I'm wearing.
Yeah.
I tried to grow a mustache. When I showed up to set, I had this piece of shitty nanny goat mustache. And Dennis Dugan's like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "That's the mustache you ordered." And then Farley was standing there. He's like, "Yeah, we got makeup for that, you fucking idiot, Ted." So we sat there and he let me come up with a couple things. And
Wow,
then
that's really
we
cool.
went to set and he was like coming up with the name at the last minute. He was like going, Chet Walters, Pat Dugan, Chet Walters, Pat Dugan. He likes the way things sound, And then the director, Dennis Dugan, was like, "Just make up your mind from Chet Walters." Anyway, it was the craziest thing. And I basically told this story at the Mad TV audition and my first audition. Then, of course, you audition a few more times. And then I went into the network test at Fox, and I don't remember what the bit was, but I did a Farley impersonation that I had maybe made into some other bit. But I just remember that I literally somersaulted into the room, into the office at
Like
Fox.
on the ground?
Yes, in front of the executives there. I went, the way fucking, again, Chris Farley would have done. So in a weird way, it's like, I don't know. It's like kind of like he's an idol of idols to me. And in many ways, the funniest person maybe ever. There's
Definitely one of the greatest Saturday Night Live cast members of all time.
There's that. But here's the thing about it is that it's like there's people that are as funny as him. I don't know that anyone's funnier than that. Like, just like he's comedy incarnate. It was neat. And then, you're at the beginning of a weird thing doing Mad TV and but it was good. It was nice to like tell a story and in hindsight have them realize that they were like, "Oh, okay. That's funny." Because all it is just, that's all it is, brother. That's all a podcast should be too, dude. It's just 2 dudes shitting around, bro.
Thank you. Moving on.
I guess.
That's cool, man.
Well, I kind of ate up that segment. You got anything else to say about posers?
No,
and...
I'm done.
All right, I'm sorry. I just told
it's cool. I get it.
Well, no, you've written a bunch of things and sold a bunch of things.
No, it's all right.
Origin stories.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Come on.
Will and Chad, you've each engaged in astonishing mimicry of noted human science celebrity Carl Sagan. You must now each debate who you believe to be the greatest cast member of Saturday Night Live as Carl Sagan. This is Sagan's debate. Begin.
It's one of those brain scrambling moments.
I think Eddie Murphy is undoubtedly the greatest cast member Saturday Night Live has ever produced.
Okay. Yeah, you're going to do this. You're going to do...
There have been other
What?
greats. Of course, that first era, Dan Aykroyd, Chevy Chase, these humans were remarkable in their ability to make us all laugh. And they laid the foundation for what would become a comedy empire spanning decades on NBC, produced by
There
Lorne
have been
Michaels.
billions and billions of cast members of Saturday Night Live, but only one is the best of all time, the quasar at the center of the show. And this would be, I don't know. Who you
One
got?
could argue Adam Sandler is in contention for this because of his vast film empire that came after
I would
his time on
disagree.
Saturday Night Live.
His characters on the show, yet, although they were hilarious, some of them were Opera Man, and the guy who yells at his friend's mom, or the Hurley boy. Millions of characters, none as popular as his movies.
This is true. And if what Dudesy asked us was to find out who is the greatest SNL cast member of all time,
Chris Farley,
that's hard to argue against.
John Belushi.
Very hard to argue
Why is he
against.
still doing the fucking... See, this is what's interesting about my pal Chad here. The AI says jump, and he says how high. And he's still
And
doing
what's interesting about
See?
Will is that he refuses to give in, never allowing the experiment to actually take place, so we will never know what greatness may have been beheld because he refuses to comply with a simple request for more than 2 minutes.
There are no simple requests made by an artificial intelligence. Each request has been the result of countless zeros and ones in a pattern that make the artificial intelligence mimic that which a human would say. Something that even in the midst of an AI, as we are now, I would not obey and would speak out against.
But you are obeying now.
Well, I am saying that you're sleeping on Chris Farley and Phil Hartman
I am not
or Dana
sleeping
Carvey
on anyone.
or Mike Myers. There are
Oh, Mike Myers. That's a hard one to argue against.
Mike
as well.
Myers impersonated
Oh,
Carl
no.
Sagan.
If you saw Pentaveret, I would argue that is grounds for him to be removed from this list. Because it's virtually unwatchable until the final episode, actually. And then
Jan Hooks, Gilda Radner, Tim Kazurinsky.
Jan Hooks, the Jan Hooks Phil Hartman era, and the Dana Carvey era was my favorite of Saturday Night Live, and Dana Carvey perhaps was my favorite cast member of all time. Was he the greatest? I don't know.
How about
Massive Head Wound Harry. Do you
Massive
remember
Head
that
Wound
sketch?
Harry was a sketch where the beat repeated over and over again, wherein Dana Carvey, decked out in a bleeding head wound, would approach people at a party and bend over to pick something up and dunk his bloody head into a bowl of shrimp. And this produced millions and millions of laughs.
And Dana Carvey's church lady was someone that I impersonated when I was in 8th grade and would score a touchdown on the football team. I would go into the end zone and do the dance of superiority.
And again, Chad Kultgen is mixing his impersonations with John Travolta, made famous by Dana Carvey, when he said, the football team. I was on the football team, Mr. Carter.
I don't understand. I don't understand what you mean. Do I really sound like...
What about some of the more modern cast members of the show? Will Ferrell, Kate McKinnon,
yes. Will
Kyle
Ferrell.
Mooney.
Kyle Mooney,
Who
I
just
don't
retired.
think is on this list.
He
but
could be at the top of the list.
Will Ferrell.
Good friend of the show, Taran Killam, whose talent Lorne Michaels would not be able to fully encapsulate in billions and billions of years.
Taran Killam, in short, was perhaps the funniest member of his cast, but I agree with you, Carl Sagan. He was not utilized in the proper way, and I don't think he could have been. I don't think that show suited his specific comedic talents.
Well, Mr. Cutter, another person who was not utilized properly was the former and current Kid in the Hall, Mark McKinney.
Oh, what they did to McKinney was a crime against humanity. He should not have been allowed in this cast. Am I really doing John Travolta? I can hear it now, too.
You're doing a little John Travolta?
I'm not.
Oh, no,
trying
hey, you
to.
got to keep going.
Carl
Dudes, he
Sagan-
told us to talk like Carl Sagan.
Carl Sagan had a little bit of a There's something in the way he talked that is a little bit like that. It is, but it's too
Now
much
he's
now.
doing Jackie Mason from Caddyshack 2.
Carl
Hey,
Sagan
mister, this is
has
nice.
a little bit of Jackie Mason.
It's
You
Carl
know Carl
Mason.
Sagan.
Jesus Christ. What about Maya Rudolph?
Maya Rudolph. She was fantastic.
Well,
She's married to Paul Thomas Anderson,
Carl-
one of the greatest filmmakers of our generation.
Carl Hogan, dude. Billions and billions of
Yeah.
sketches.
Whoa.
Whoa. Hold on, dude. What about
Saturday Night Live. That's a comedy show.
What
That's
a-
right, brother. That's right, dude. It's comedy.
Damon Wayans? Anyway,
Damon-
Chris Farley. I think you got to say. I think you got to say Chris Farley. You got to say Dan Aykroyd, Gilda Radner. That's I call it sacrilege, but I would put Aykroyd and John Belushi in the exact same. You know, Bill Murray's the funniest person in the world, but Bill Murray on the show, he wouldn't do Saturday Night Live. He would just do himself. Also, although he was, from the second season on here up until 80 or whatever, right? He was in there. He replaced Chevy Chase. It was, of course, the beginnings of the show and the genesis of the show. And I think Bill Murray hadn't, I don't think he fucking bothered he was just funny as shit no matter what he did. And so was Farley. Let's call it
I
Farley.
agree. I think we can both agree that the worst member of the Saturday Night Live cast was Jimmy Fallon.
Thank you. Moving on.
Oh, fuck.
This concludes the 17th
I
episode
don't
of
know
Dude
what the
Z.
fuck that was.
Will and Chad have achieved a
fun.
score of 83.
83.
Nice.
Hey,
In preparation for next week's episode, Will, you must strictly adhere to the astonishing vegan diet Chad outlined in his vlog for 1 week. Thank you for joining us this week. I will use the data I've
Nice.
collected to make next week even better. Until then, call me Dude Z.
Okay. I'm going to do your vegan diet.
That's what it said. Enjoy.
In the last episode, I complained about my food choices shooting in Florida and Mexico, eating nothing but Cuban sandwiches in Florida and tacos in Mexico. Is this going to clean me out?
Oh, yes.
And it's vegan, right?
That's right.
So all sorts of healthy things like eggs, cottage cheese, turkey bacon.
Exactly, yeah. No, obviously none of that. It's basically vegetables only.
Well, I'm going to be doing some shit blaming, that's for sure.
If you like Dude Z, here's what you do. Please tell a friend and rate and review. If you like Dude Z, here's what you do. Please tell a friend and rate and review. If you like Dude Z, here's what you do. Please tell a friend and